Oh, it's Weather Wagers, everybody. How are you? I'm Brett Thackeray, and that makes you...
I'm Dan Tomaso. Where are we?
Well, we've glammed up a bit, right? So they're doing some renovations, and so we're actually in our main studio here at ABC 27. I like the digs, by the way.
I love this. I mean, It feels big. It feels bold.
Yeah.
We've never looked better.
Nope. I'm sure we'll be kicked out of here next. So
yes.
But we'll do it from the parking lot if we have to.
We will.
And
My attic, whatever.
Exactly. We are glad to be with you here. It's Wednesday. That means it's Weather Wagers. The countdown is on to our Season 3 debut. And, of course, Dan, the start of football season.
Absolutely.
It's still summer, though. We keep having storms. We keep having high humidity. And, of course, we keep having baseball to talk about, too.
We have a lot going on, period. But, of course, the excitement's been building because all of a sudden training camps are open. We're getting video of actual players doing actual things. We're getting fall camp video from Penn State and other programs, including somebody named Fat Rat at Virginia Tech. I don't know if anyone's seen that, but apparently that could be their wide receiver one at Virginia Tech.
I like Fat Rat. I like that
Runkemeyer to Fat Rat, touchdown.
Touchdown. All right.
Hokies.
You can, of course, find us wherever you get your podcasts, and we want you to watch us on ABC 27 News Plus. You can download it on your smart TV, and for now, the next couple of weeks here, new episodes are on Wednesdays. But as we get into week 0 and the fall season, we plan to go to 2 episodes a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, just for you. You can listen on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and of course, you can also watch us on YouTube. So let's get right into things this week. We're going to start with some baseball and, of course, talk about the Philadelphia Phillies, who blew another game last night. It's hard to believe, but I've said this before, and I'm going to make a bold prediction here. I don't know that this team is cut out for October. They certainly haven't been the last few years. I don't even know if they can make it to October, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay? The starting pitching is phenomenal, but last night, Don Mattingly pulls Christopher Sanchez after 6. Now, after the game, Christopher said he's done. But the point of the matter is the bullpen came in and they blew it. I'm not sure our bullpen is up to the task of playoff baseball. Okay?
I just don't understand. I mean, listen.
You don't understand we lost 2-0 last night.
Coming into last night, they'd won the first game of the series, won on Sunday as well in a exuberant win, which, by the way, I think we have some pictures of here. I mean, it is just phenomenal. One of the best sports pictures I've seen in a long time. You can see here with Derek Hill, and he's just bathed in whatever that is, some mixture of Gatorade, ice water, whatever.
And by the way, for the folks that did say Dave didn't add an outfield addition, what's this guy?
And he had a big stolen base again last night.
Yeah,
he's
a baller. He is a baller.
I would be more concerned about the Phillies if I saw a bunch of strikeouts, which was their Achilles heel the last couple of years in the playoffs, including Nick Castellanos, who drove people nuts, even Bryce Harper at times, Kyle Schwarber. But last night was the quintessential frustration of baseball. They made contact constantly last night. They had runners on base constantly. And on top of that, Brett, they had opportunities in the 7th and 8th with multiple runners on. Derek Hill had a big stolen base. He ran for Kyle Schwarber. And Justin Crawford hit a ball 106 miles per hour off the bat to right field. And, of course, it's right at the right fielder. That would have been a 2-0 lead for the Phillies at the time. Now, I was equally as frustrated with Don Mattingly last night. Now, if it's true that Christopher Sanchez was consulted and he said, I'm out of gas, fine.
That's the story Don Mattingly told the reporters last night.
But if it's not true, that's the type of move that you can lose a clubhouse with. And that's what I'm fear could be building here, that the bullpen decisions have been so poor over the last 2 weeks that he could lose trust with his own players.
But I think the bottom line here is this team running out of time to be good.
No.
I mean, we're starting to get late into
we have
August.
6 weeks left.
We're dropping out of the wild card to the Padres.
But we aren't. We really aren't.
Well, we are. But we
really aren't. We are 6 to 7 games over 500 on any given night. You don't have to be perfect to make the wild card in the playoffs. And I keep going back to this. Truly, the teams that made runs were not dominant in the regular season. You go back to 1980, you go back to even 2008, you go back to the Phillies team in 2022. I mean, they got in the last 3 days of the season. And I know that's not comfortable for everybody, but I just keep saying get in. And I have a feeling if they get in as a wild card team, they have a better shot than they do if they win the division, because we've seen the layoff having a big effect. Now, maybe it doesn't under Don,
Well,
but
let's talk about that.
I don't like that for this team.
Why can this team not only get to October but compete? Let's start with the starting pitching, and I just
Been
want to
phenomenal
focus
since
on
the All-Star break. Pretty much.
We know the big two, but talk about Luzardo a little bit. I want to just focus on him because his starts have been pretty good.
Yeah.
And like last night, though, I hate to waste a good starting pitching night.
Sure.
And score 0 runs. We're going to get into that, but the starting pitching is elite, and that could get us through the playoffs.
And
right?
We haven't really seen to this point yet all three in line. Most of the time we see Sanchez and even, maybe a little bit of Aaron Nola mixed in before Zach Wheeler early in the season, but then Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, then Luzardo. I would like to see the team put the best three in order, and that would happen in a playoff series.
Well,
Luzardo has been, believe it or not, since July 1st, the best pitcher in the National League other than somebody named Jacob Mizorowski.
And then use Nola, and then use Painter.
Because
exactly.
I still think with that lineup of the starting three, you have a good a shot of beating the Dodgers as anyone does. And the Dodgers know this.
And what about the lineup changes? I mean, Luis Arraez, now I'm going to get into his negatives here in a second.
Love him.
But we added him. That and some of the other lineup changes could help propel us through the playoffs.
Well, I don't think it's any coincidence since Arraez has been here. The quality of at-bats, I feel like, has been very, very good overall. They're working pitchers. They're making sure overall that they're taking the right pitches. They're swinging at the right pitches. If I was seeing multiple nights in a row of 10 strikeouts per night, I'd be concerned. But actually, their strikeout rate has dropped dramatically.
Look at how happy he looks, right? I mean, he
brings a big-time energy.
He brings an energy, and he looks absolutely...
and I think he fits this team really well.
Yeah, he just looks like he's having fun when he plays baseball.
Before we move on, I just want to mention how good has Bryson Stott looked at third. He made 3 phenomenal plays last night. It can't be understated how good he looks at that position.
Yeah.
And all the vitriol about, like, this isn't going to work, you're moving too many position players. Bryson Stott at third base may be a huge contributor to, and even Scott Fransky said it on the radio broadcast last night. His range left and right is so much better than Bohm. It's night and day.
Well, it is, and but speaking of that, Bryson Stott, Trey Turner, Schwarber,
they're doing their
Harper,
work. They're doing their jobs.
This is a group. This is my third reason why they can get there and find themselves having success in October is they've been there before.
And they're hungry.
They know they have failed, but they also know what the gruel is like, right?
Yes.
It's a grueling time to get through that final month of the season, to go through the playoffs. And this is
playing
a group,
13 in a row.
This is a group that, for the most part, has been there.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
I think it's very important. And I think that hunger with Bryce is obviously still there. He wants to get over the hump. He wants to kind of beat back the naysayers in many ways. Kyle Schwarber looks like himself again after the home run derby doldrums.
Yeah.
I actually think, in my opinion, especially if they would have won last night, I feel like they're ready to go on a roll as long as their manager doesn't get in their way.
Well, let's talk about that. We want to start with what may stop this team from progressing through October. And one of the things is the bullpen. And we've had, first of all, the bullpen has not been good enough. Okay,
well,
here's
I disagree with that.
Well, no.
I totally disagree with that.
No,
again,
I'm sorry.
Played,
Look at the facts.
They've played a lot of games in a row recently.
Here's a guy.
When they're overworked, they look rougher.
Here's a guy that came in from the Mets, right? And
Yep.
he's looked a little rough, but he's had some moments.
Well, he's had one bad outing, but he really saved the game on Sunday.
So can he help? I think
Yes.
so.
I think he's the 8th inning guy, and I'm not sure why Don's been hesitant to pull that trigger.
But then we have this guy who got injured. What's the latest with him? Do we know?
Not sure.
Okay,
I mean,
because
I have not
that
heard,
could be a problem.
I have not heard the severity of the oblique injury yet. Maybe they're still doing imaging.
And for
or
those
whatever.
that are listening, we're talking about
Caleb Killian, yes, and he was obviously used a bunch here with these extra inning games. He had one blow up the night where they gave up 6 in 1 half inning, but again, that was the Derek Hill running into the wall. Could he have caught it without running into the wall? I think so. I won't get into that, but basically when you're trained as an outfielder, you're trained to find the wall first. And I feel like he was running with abandonment rather than with a plan.
But you have Orion Kerkering, who's been good until recently.
Yes.
You have Jose
But that
Alvarado.
could also be overuse.
Yeah, but you have Jose Alvarado, who I don't think should be put in a high leverage situation anymore.
I disagree. I think him. So here's my main point. It's the way you use these guys. And Alvarado was an example where, okay, gets the first 2 outs, but then there's a walk, some botched umpiring there in that walk, and this goes back to Saturday night, I believe. And then all of a sudden, hit, game's now tied. that's an example where he was left in too long. And
Yeah.
to me, I don't understand why they're not piggybacking guys.
Well, let's talk about Don
I mean,
Mattingly.
Larry Bowa was great at piggyback guys, but he also made a lot of changes. But that's the type of managing I was expecting with Donnie.
Is Don Mattingly a problem into
I think so.
into the playoffs?
It almost looks like at times the game is too fast for him in the late innings. I really question who is making these calls to leave guys in longer and who he's bringing in when. Because it was even brought up, too, that with the struggles of Kerkering, why wasn't Raley used more?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
why? There isn't a whole lot of logic right now that you can kind of figure out why he's doing what he's doing. With Rob, I felt like he was somewhat predictable, but at the same time, most of his moves I felt like worked down the stretch when they needed to.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. I will tell you, though, that in looking over some of these stats here, and I'm going to try to pull some up, I think the offense still has issues, Dan, and I think that is going to lead us into perhaps a place that we don't want to go into October again, where these bats just are not lining up correctly for us to actually work. The Phillies cleanup hitters this season are batting .226 with a .634 OPS. That's 25th in Major League Baseball.
Yes.
Now, Luis Ariz, our latest acquisition, is hitting 194 in 8 games with the Phillies. He is 2 for his last 23.
Again, small sample size, and I also think he is a guy you never worry about because even last night when he hit into a double play with the bases loaded, he's not swinging and missing. And I warned you, and I knew the fans would get aggravated with this. He's going to hit into outs. When you make that much contact, unless you're hitting 600, you're going to hit into outs. It's just going to happen. If he was striking out and looking terrible at the plate, I'd be concerned, but he looks like the same swing, looks like the same plan at the plate. It's not like he's pressing.
But the numbers do not lie. And
I
the
understand,
numbers say
but
that
he could be 3 for 4 today.
He could be, but we scored 0 runs last night.
I understand, and it was extremely frustrating.
It's shades of October's past.
No, again, I will disagree with you on that just because the strikeouts are not there. I think since the break, they're down to under 20% strikeout rate. I think the issue in October previously was the strikeouts and lack of contact.
I think that's fair.
I truly believe this. If they continue this streak of low strikeouts, more walks, and more contact, you're going to win more often than not.
I think everything you said is fair, but I think the bottom line is the bullpen has to be better going into the fall.
I think it has to be deployed better.
Fine, then that's a Don Mattingly issue. I think that's a fair statement, and I think the offense has to be clicking at a higher rate.
Well, keep in mind, until last night, they were averaging 5 to 6 runs a night.
I
which
understand.
Is a big improvement.
But the record still has
we
not
would have
been...
won a lot more games in April and May if we were scoring 5 to 6 runs a night.
I do agree, but I just think, too, that still the record out of the break is not good yet. So we need to be better, and if we can win this series
we
today...
do need to be better. I don't disagree with you there.
If we can win this series today, great. Now, something else...
And then we go into this bizarre world that we find ourselves in.
Well, speaking of that, it is
Iowa
time.
A fun world.
We get to play, well, not we, right? People don't like that when we say we, but it's our team. We root for them. But the Phillies get to play in the Field of Dreams game, and they're getting that field ready.
They built it, and we're coming.
And the Phillies are coming. They take on the Twins. What does this mean to you as a Phillies fan to see this? What a great idea by Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought something like this would happen to the Phillies, for instance. I always expected Midwestern teams in this type of game. But
well, the Twins are going to be there, too.
The Phillies are popular, and so that's the reason why they've been selected for this game. I sort of wish it was Sanchez or Wheeler on the mound, but it's going to be a throwback game. There's no ABS challenges in this game. There's no system set up. A lot of people are probably going to be disgusted by that. But also there's no outfield wall, right? Because there's corn. I think you're going to see a lot more low tech because you're not in a real stadium. So I think it's going to be a little odd to see.
It's going to be like a Little League game.
You're almost
in
like on
many
a different
ways.
planet.
Yeah, but I just love it. So let's talk about, we want to talk about the schedule coming up because the Field of Dreams game, of course, is tomorrow night. The Phillies round out their series with the Cardinals. If they can win this afternoon because it's the getaway game, then we win the series. I'll be more than happy with that. The Field of Dreams game is on Netflix Thursday night, and then we follow that up. Of course, Friday's the travel day.
Yes, Friday's the travel day. As Scott Francie said, the golf day.
The golf day, and then you finish the series up in Minnesota, outdoor stadium. We'll look at the forecast in a second.
We will.
Saturday night and Sunday afternoon. Then you take on the Marlins and the Cardinals again. They come back to Philly now for the wraparound. But this is not an easy schedule
No, it's
again.
not.
And
it's not.
If this team
We
wants
get another
to,
off day, though. That's the one nice thing.
We do, and I do think that is played with the bullpen
Yes.
and everything else. Still, this is a schedule that the Phillies have to be careful with here. They could lose a few of these series, and then I think you are out of the wild card.
But I think if they win the series, I think they take the wild card by the...
Well, but you've got to play a lot better. I mean, what I saw last night was disgusting.
I don't think it was disgusting. Again, if they were striking out in big moments, I would agree with you.
I hear you, but they still lost and they didn't score a run.
I totally understand that. I understand the frustration, but I just see something different right now, especially since the break, that the team looks like they're on the cusp.
Well,
I truly believe that.
I hope you're right. Something has to change. I agree.
Listen,
the energy's better.
Better bullpenning in that Toronto series wins you at least one extra game, maybe two.
And better management of the
That's
pen.
what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's talk about the forecast
They let
here.
those two get away, and that's the irritating part.
I think the Field of Dreams game is going to have some trouble.
Yes,
this is
I
in,
agree.
Where
it's
is
very
it?
Dyersville, Iowa. Iowa.
And, we've explained this before, but when you have a ridge of high pressure dominating the central part of the country with a heat dome.
Has anyone seen all that rain in parts of Indiana and Ohio? It's been nonstop.
Well, on the outer skirts of a ridge like this, you get what we call the ring of fire, which is around the high. That's where you find the convection, almost in a circular pattern. And you can see sort of that wraparound precipitation stretching from Iowa, the Dakotas, down into Iowa, down into Chicago, Indiana, and Ohio. We've been on here in central Pennsylvania, the northern edge of it. But Dyersville, Iowa could see some thunderstorms during the Field of Dreams game.
Yes.
I do think that is going to be an issue. The weather
I don't know what they do about
I don't
that.
know either. The weather could have a real issue here unless they just play it late into the night.
Well, or can they delay it to Friday? I don't know if they can.
I don't know if they can because of the travel. So that's going to be something that we want to watch. And then, of course, they're going to be playing, what is it, Target Stadium?
Target Field, yep.
Target Field.
Yep.
They go to Minneapolis then for Saturday and Sunday. And I actually think they may have some more issues
Right,
here.
it's right there.
Because of the Ring of Fire. Saturday night, the storms are going to be around. Doesn't mean they won't get the game in. I do think by Sunday afternoon, notice how the front finally moves through. I think Sunday afternoon is the Phillies' best shot to have no weather worries.
I agree with that, yes.
But I think, Dan, Thursday night, unfortunately for them, the Field of Dreams game, we're going to have to battle some storms, and they may have to do it again Saturday night.
It could be problematic, that is for sure. And we saw this even with the Phillies. I mean, we had active storm days the last couple of weekends in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And it was storming all around the city, and then eventually it became a problem for the city and the southern side itself, and then the rain doesn't move out quickly. So then you end up with long delays, you end up with issues. And, of course, going back to the Baltimore series, too, we had our own issues.
No doubt. Well, nothing screams summer like baseball and the Field of Dreams.
And storms.
And storms, no doubt. And summer is winding down, but there is still time perhaps for you to take a trip. And now we want to take a pause because we're going to hear from this week's sponsor.
Well, Brett, summer is winding down, but there's always an opportunity to take perhaps yet another trip or a short vacation, even perhaps in our own Commonwealth, our own state.
Well, I'll tell you what, I had that opportunity a couple of weeks ago, and I will tell you that, we're talking about baseball, but pretty soon these leaves are going to be starting to change, and coming up here on Weather Wagers, we'll talk about football, right? Fall camps are opening. We just had the Hall of Fame game.
And then your weekends are going to be a little busier.
Yes.
You might not want to be traveling as much, but
no, my
perhaps
butt's
you can
gonna,
sneak it in.
My butt's going to want to be on that couch watching all of these games. We're almost ready to launch Season 3 of Weather Wagers, but listen, we all want to sneak in that one last trip before school starts. And thanks to our friends at the Poconos Visitors Bureau, I was able to do that by visiting Kalahari Water Park and resorts up in the Pocono Mountains. It's a great area to travel to. We took the family up. We had a great time. And now, thanks to today's sponsor, Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau, you can see what it was like as well. Roll that footage.
Hi folks, it's Jim Hamill, and every once in a while, people from different parts of Pennsylvania want to come to the Poconos to experience all the fun that we have in any season, but especially summer. That's when folks like this weatherman, meteorologist Brett Thacker with ABC 27, heard you wanted to come up to the Poconos, Brett.
We do. Like to bring the family up, and I hear it's a great place.
It certainly is. We have so many things to see and do. We want to talk to you about financial planning for vacations and maybe talk to an institution in a little bit that can help with that. But let's find out a little bit more about what you guys want to do when you come to the Poconos.
Sounds great. Let's do it. Well, good morning, everybody. We've got another hot day ahead.
Even the friendly local meteorologist needs to get away, and Brett at ABC 27 in Harrisburg has been forecasting a family trip to the Poconos.
the Poconos is great because it's not right here, right? You want to go away, but not go too far, especially with young kids. And so then the question is, well, what's close? And I hear the Poconos has a lot to offer.
The plan, load up the car and take the couple-hour trek with the family to Kalahari in the Poconos, but before he puts down the weather clicker and trades it in for a cocktail poolside, Brett knows it's wise to plan, especially financially.
So I think planning ahead is smart. How much are you going to spend on dining? It all goes kind of funneled into one budget. And if you can get the help you need, there's no reason not to do it, because as long as you're responsible, you want to have fun, and that's what it's about.
So now we know Brett and his family would like to visit the Poconos. Well, how can they best plan financially so they can be responsible about this trip or other trips? Members First Federal Credit Union here, with many branches down in the Harrisburg area and even one coming to the Poconos soon, can help them out. Let's go meet some folks inside.
We really encourage things like vacation savings clubs, things like that, with the automatic savings. So all year they can plan to put money aside into a savings account right from their checking account to allow them to save for those larger items like vacations.
Devin DiBiase and the team at Members First have so many tools to help folks like you and me plan for and afford trips. Yes, even to the Poconos. That vacation club is one. The money gets taken out of your paycheck and ready for you when vacation time comes.
It's a very successful way of saving for a vacation, so that it's not that sticker shock when August comes around and they're ready to start traveling and they have to pull from maybe a visa or a home equity loan. They can use their savings account to do that.
You can open a vacation club account anytime with no minimum deposit or balance requirement. Save as much or as little as you want. That way you avoid debt and can automatically manage your savings online. In person at branches in central Pennsylvania, the Lehigh Valley, or online, Members First is accessible and prepared to guide members to the right goals. Branch manager Ryan Rivera understands the value of having dedicated support for life's financial needs, even that annual trip with the family.
People helping people. The big thing for Members First is understanding the person in front of you's goal and their financial picture currently, and then aligning that with our products to help them get to where they want to be.
In addition to the vacation club and savings approach to vacations, the pros at Members First also recommend using a Visa Signature Rewards card that has travel perks built in. Because at the end of the day,
everyone has a financial goal, and it's a matter of figuring out what that is, and then again coupling it with a Members First product to help them get to whatever that financial goal is.
Everyone, including Brett and the Thackara family, who wound up taking his own advice and planned for a trip to Kalahari at the end of July. Want to learn more about Members First Federal Credit Union? Head to membersfirst.org. That's members1st.org. You'll find becoming a member as easy as, well, splashing around at the water park. This has been Jim Hamill for the Pocono Television Network.
How fun was that, right?
That's a lot of fun. I'm a little jealous that you got to sneak away again, but tell me a little about those slides. Tell me a little about the fun that you guys had.
Well, they have an indoor and an outdoor water park, and when we were there, much like Pennsylvania for the last month, it was storming. So we stayed inside. That's where all the big water slides are, Dan, and it was fun. The kids had a blast. Great food. We had a great room there at Kalahari, and it was just an overnight, right? So you don't have to spend a lot of money.
You don't have to
go
do
there.
a lot.
And you get access to the water park the day you arrive through the day that you leave. So that's essentially 2 days there. You spend the night. Great food. We had so many memories. The kids want to go back. The water slides were fun, and we showed you some Members First planning tips there too to help you out with the vacation. But I will say, it was great, and our thanks to Jim Hamill and the team there from Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau. They were the sponsor of this segment, and my family and I had a great time. All right, Dan. Well, again, great trip, right?
Great trip.
And we're back now, but now we want to turn our attention because we are thinking about fall. Penn State camp has opened up.
The trip up to State College up 322, the
Yeah.
green passageways there through the hills.
It's always great in the fall when the leaves change, but now it's summer. Workouts have started.
Yep.
What are we hearing about some of the players out there? Because I think fans, the real question for them is, can the Iowa State players that have come into this program make the jump from
That is the question.
the Big 12 to maybe a more physical league like the Big 10?
More
And
demanding league, yep.
It seems like what we're reading and hearing is that, for the most part, they can. But, of course, this is camp. It's not a game.
Oh, I'm glad you said that because that's how I was going to start things off. I'm glad that the vibes are high. I'm glad that it seems like a looser environment, that maybe the coach isn't yelling as much. Maybe he's just whispering to his players, I want you to do it this way, rather than, hey, do it this way. But I do want to kind of slow the roll a little bit because remember all the hype we heard last year, my friend.
Well,
and there was a lot of it leading into the season, and
Yeah.
we tend to get caught up in this because there's no games being played yet. But keep in mind, there's not much hitting in these practices. Pads aren't always on. It's usually kind of like a track meet in a way that you guys, you have corners running against wide receivers, and is there really hand fighting? Is there really battling? Let's just take a pause. Both things can be true. Players can look good, but they're not in a game yet.
Well, I want to focus on 3 different groups and just kind of fire some questions at you here. We are hearing that the wide receivers might be up to the task. They're taller, they're bigger, they're more physical.
Maybe a little faster.
Penn State has had a problem with that wide receiver room.
Yes.
I don't know if it could get much worse. Is this the year that perhaps with a veteran quarterback we see some movement in that room, in a good way?
We don't have the Devontae Rosses of the world anymore. We don't have even the Harrison Wallaces of the world anymore. I think it can get better, and I think they'll be efficient on offense if they can run the ball, which we had issues with times last year that the running game couldn't get going. I think the tight ends are going to be the focus of the passing game, and I think people need to kind of pull back the expectations on wide receivers a little bit because of that.
Well, I want to focus on that group next.
But I do think they can be better.
Yeah.
But just keep in mind, Iowa State lost 4 games in a row last year, too. I keep bringing up that point. So how much better are the wide receivers? We really don't know.
The tight end group, though, may be one of the better ones in the country. That is a fact. Andrew Rappelier
Seems
stuck
like we have
around.
3 solid guys.
2 guys that were very highly scouted.
Bramer and Burkle.
Yeah, by the pros.
Sounds like a law firm.
It does. They're coming in, and they seem to be hitting the ground running.
Yes.
Of the offensive groups, that's probably
That's
the
the one
best.
I worry about the least, I think.
Yeah,
And I think it's going to be exciting to see the way they deploy them, a la Tyler Warren. Can they get Bramer in certain packages like that? Can you block better? It seems like they're going to go to a 3 tight end set for running plays, but also some play action off of that. Mm-hmm. But again, it's tight ends. It's not like we're talking about huge explosive plays all the time.
How about concerning players that may have some issues? What about
bumps and bruises?
What about? Well, no, I don't mean injuries, but I mean maybe
because there is some of that. There is some of that recovery.
Some of that, but is the defense up to the task?
I don't know. And that's, I almost think the defense has more questions to me than the offense because A, it's a coordinator we've never seen before. B, they were horrendous last year. And I just don't see the depth on the defensive edges that I would like to see.
Well, Tony Rojas is back.
Yes,
and
then that should be a big help.
That could be a big help if he stays healthy.
If he stays healthy.
Yeah, and he also said the environment is much better now.
The environment's much better. He
Which
seems to like his
speaks to
coordinator.
Matt Campbell's methods and the coordinator's
Yeah.
methods. Wouldn't you agree with that?
But was he happy before the Oregon loss last year, too? Again, losing can kind of curtail things.
It sure can.
Matt Campbell goes back to diversity. When they hit diversity, how do they handle it? And by
Adversity. Right?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. And by the way, his hat. You got to replace that. He does have a worn out blue Penn State hat. I've seen him on with practice.
We need the graphics folks to get on that.
When adversity hits, will the team hold up?
Yeah.
If there's an injury like a Tony Rojas injury, will that totally impact the defense? Because there isn't a ton of depth overall. I keep going back to that.
Well, and speaking of diversity, one of the things he's seen, though, is that these players, he wants them to interchange positions.
Yes.
He wants them to have a diverse playbook.
But then we got complaints about that from an offensive lineman from last year.
Well, we did. So, again, there's a lot of questions
There's a
here.
lot of questions.
And I don't think we're going to have any answers until perhaps that Wisconsin game.
And that's bingo. That's where I was going to go because even Campbell himself said we may not know in the non-con. We may not know. We may still be trying things. I hate to call it a preseason because those games are going to matter a lot.
Yeah, but
early.
It is.
But you could see multiple iterations of the offensive line, multiple iterations of the defensive line, multiple linebackers in different spots. There's some uncertainty about safety. Not Marcus Neal. I think Marcus Neal is going to be a complete player for this team. But surrounding him, what's it like? We're going to find all that out.
It's going to be fun. I mean, we can taste it. It's almost here.
I mean, when Marshall goes for 80 on the first play off the line of scrimmage.
What are we going to do?
What are we going to do?
And that's the
That's the
adversity
question.
that he is
Right.
talking about.
Not
But-
diversity. Sorry about that.
No, but we talk about that too.
Yes.
But I will say they are going to be, for some of these Iowa State players, playing in a tougher league. There's no doubt about it.
Well, and a bigger stadium.
Yeah.
More fans. Again, there's things here we just don't know how they're going to react to in the moment yet.
But speaking of that,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about the Big Ten, because it is time to preview that conference. We've previewed all of the other power conferences
This
so
will get
far.
your wheels turning big time.
Let's go to the odds board, right, shall we? These are the Big Ten futures and the conference winners. Ohio State's still the favorite
Yes.
here at plus 180. Does that surprise you a bit that Indiana is not?
No, I think Ohio State gets their flowers here. I think obviously they are the team that compiles the most talent, and I think Indiana has questions because they're bringing in a new quarterback. They lost a lot of players to the draft, and just overall changeover, if you will. So I think there's questions. Can Kirk Cignetti have another magical season like last year?
But let me ask you this, and I want this to get your brain going. First of all, look at that list. It is clearly the big three:
Yes,
Ohio
and
State,
everybody
Indiana,
else.
and Oregon, and everybody else. By the way, Penn State does not play
Nope.
those three teams.
Nope.
Okay. And then it's Michigan, and then USC.
And I
is
feel
at
like
5.
Michigan's just there because of legacy. When I saw that, I'm like, I think USC has a better shot.
Well, Brad Powers told us he's not a huge fan
Right.
of Bryce Underwood.
Yep.
They also have a new coach, from the
too.
Big
Yep.
12.
And that's
okay?
why I thought, I'm like, really?
But again, their schedule is shaping up nicely,
Yep.
sort of like Penn State's. But I want to go back to that because Ohio State coming in at the favorite here. Okay, plus what is it? Plus 180.
Yes.
When's the last time Ohio State won the Big Ten?
Right. They don't need to, right? I mean, that's kind
Well,
of the
they
thing.
don't need to, but I'm asking.
It has to be pre the losing streak to Michigan, right?
Give me the year.
2018.
Not that long ago.
So more like 2019, 2020.
2020
Wow.
was the last year they won
The
the Big
COVID
Ten.
year.
That's 6 years ago.
Yeah. And it makes sense because they would lose that
It
final
does.
game.
It does, but when you think about the Big Ten, you think, oh, Ohio State just wins it.
No,
every year. They haven't
it's
won
not
it
the
in
case.
6 years. It
Right.
was the Michigan loss, and
they
now
get
Indiana.
they get into the championship game, and sometimes they win that.
They did win the national title
Right.
in 2024, but the Big Ten has not been won by them.
Correct.
Let's go to win totals now because this is always fun
This
to
is
look
exciting
at.
stuff.
Okay, but again, we have the big three. Indiana and Oregon are actually favored to win more games than Ohio
which
State.
is, again, very interesting.
Ohio State's over and under is 9.5, and then who's at number 4?
Penn State.
with USC and Michigan. Those are the two teams. All three of us play each other, so that's going to determine.
That's the jumbled up mess right
Yeah.
there. But then you think that's jumbled, and look at the next grouping.
Yeah,
You have
Washington, Iowa, Illinois. Yeah.
Oh, my. Oh,
Yep.
my.
And then some programs, too, that could make a jump and could be dangerous. I know everybody says it every year, but again, keep an eye on Nebraska. Their schedule is
I know.
somewhat favorable. Minnesota, people like them
6.5
this year.
seems low.
What about Bob Chesney? Could he have a strong debut
Yes.
at UCLA?
Yes.
And of course, now that Wisconsin has a better quarterback and Luke Fickell has more support and NIL money,
The
maybe they do a
alignment.
little bit better. So let's pick our win totals and let's pick our conference favorite. Is there any?
Well, I
win-
would, before we move on to that.
Yeah.
So we did this 3 years ago. Do you want to guess what Indiana's over/under was at that point for wins 3 years ago?
4.5.
3.5.
Oh my! Wow.
That's
Yeah.
how much the landscape has changed.
And now they sit atop the
Now
board.
they went from the bottom of that list
Right.
to the top.
Yeah. So it
I
can
thought
be done.
that was phenomenal.
It can be done, and you're a doubter
Google him.
with Penn State.
Google him.
You're a doubter. It could be done with Penn
I'm not
State.
Googling Matt Campbell. I'm Googling Kirk Cignetti.
All right. Well, there's no doubt. But do you believe in Kirk Cignetti? We each get to make a pick here,
I
and we each
actually
get to make a
don't.
dark horse pick.
I actually don't.
See, that's wild. Can he do it with the new quarterback
Well-
that's coming in from TCU?
The thing is, though, that win total is high. 10.5
Yeah.
is really high. So it stuck out to me like a sore thumb. And to me, I actually picked that first before I picked my over.
Well, because they have to play Oregon, they have to play Ohio
Right.
State, so you're actually picking Indiana to go under
and
10
by the way, 10
Yeah,
wins.
10 wins you that bet.
So that's why I went that way.
Yeah.
I'm not hating on them. I'm just saying that there might be some reality this year.
All right,
just a
now
little bit.
talk to me about USC because we're different here, and I
Yes.
want you to tell me why you think they're going to be over.
Well, I just think at some point this has to click with Lincoln Riley. You know, last year they showed they can run the ball a little bit more. They showed like they have a little bit more of a Big Ten offense. And 8.5, kind of like Penn State, it could get tipped by that whiteout game in Happy Valley.
If it is the whiteout.
If it is, right. But everyone's assuming at this point it is.
Well, you never know.
I know. But
Okay,
anyway, that could be the tipping factor right
I
there.
want to go down USC's schedule quickly.
please
because
do. I knew you were going to do this.
I have an under.
Okay.
I have them going under. Now, they
Which
open
could
with,
be 8 wins.
Yeah, San Jose State, Fresno State,
Yep.
Louisiana.
Yep.
Let's give it to them.
Clean sweep.
At Rutgers.
Should be able to do that.
Should be able to do that, but it is at Rutgers.
So now we're up to 4.
We're up to 4. Okay. Oregon. I think they lose that. I think they lose it.
I
Okay?
could see it.
They have to go to, oh no, Oregon's at home.
Oh, well, you never know.
That's interesting, but I'm going to give them a loss there. They do get Washington at home.
That's pretty big for them.
If you want to give them that win, I will. We're at 5. They
well,
go,
and Jeb Fish's team is at 7.5.
Right.
So what does that say?
so we'll tip the scales
Yep,
there.
yep.
At Penn State. Okay. You want to give them that one? You do, since you're taking them over.
I think so.
Okay. So now we're at 6. Then they're off. Then they have to go at Wisconsin.
They should get that.
That's 7. Then at Indiana. I'm going to keep them at 7. Ohio State, 7. I know, but I'm going to keep them at 7.
I think those are going to be really good games.
Maryland,
should get that.
8.
So that's 8.
And then at UCLA. There's your swing game. It could be very interesting.
Yeah, we just don't know enough about UCLA. That's the
I
unfortunate
think they're
part.
going to drop one of the games. They've got Washington, they've got Penn State, and they've got at UCLA. No, one of those 3.
One of those 3.
One of those 3, I think they're going to lose.
Okay.
And that's going to put them under.
Okay.
So I'm going under. Now the over.
But it's very tight. It's very tight.
It is the over team that I picked.
Yeah, let's see this.
I like UCLA. I think Bob Chesney.
I mean, 6.5.
Yeah, he's got the potential to come in and make a big statement. They have Nico. He's bringing
They're
some
investing.
guys from JMU.
Yep.
What did the last guy do that brought some guys
very
from
true.
JMU?
Now,
right?
this could be a much bigger change.
Yeah.
You know, West Coast, and, you know, they didn't have much to work with coming in.
Correct. But listen, I like him, and I do want to see.
Hey, he's a great ball coach.
I think they can get bowl eligible, and I think they can win 7. So that's
Wow.
sort of my long shot pick.
Okay.
All right, now let's pick the conference, right? And I think
Who's
you'll think
gonna
this
win
is
the
interesting.
conference?
All right, who's going to win the conference? Let me go first this time. I'm going to pick Indiana.
Okay.
I am not
Wow.
going to go against Kirk Cignetti
Wow.
here. I think that he can. He's the quarterback whisperer. He can do wonderful things with transfer portal guys. He is what everybody thinks Lane Kiffin is.
Okay.
Okay. He transformed a program, and he wins playoff games. And I think they win the Big Ten. Until they don't, I'm going to pick them. And then I hate.
dark horse is Ohio State.
But Dan, you know, I know you laugh at that, but they haven't won the league in 6
I know,
years.
I know.
And so I kind of laughed at that too. But they've got Julian Saint. They've got
Yes.
Jeremiah Smith. They're hungry to do
They're
it.
the Ohio State.
University, right? And, you know, I'm not going to pick Penn State. I don't see a major dark horse coming out of this. But
I
Ohio-
don't either.
But Ohio State has.
For the record, I don't either.
Ohio State has not done this in a while. So I am going to put them there, and I feel that's a safe choice.
Okay.
Now, you have a team that also, people are picking to win the national title, right?
Right,
It's
so
a good, smart pick.
I think Oregon has a real shot here to kind of break through. I thought they did last year too, coming out of that Penn State whiteout win. I just thought that would propel them moving forward. I mean, Dante Moore, the quarterback, probably very legitimate NFL prospect. They always have receivers. They have a really good defensive line and are pretty good defensively, pretty sound compared to other years. I just feel like if it's not now, when? And if it's not, is this the Dan Lanning hot seat year?
Well, listen, what did they call James?
Big game James.
Yeah. Dan Lanning has choked a
I
few
know.
big games away.
I know. And so
Okay?
that's
Yeah, in the playoffs, he hasn't shown up.
it's time to put it up.
Yeah, and then your dark horse is Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, and
Is
it
this
goes
his
back
year?
to my other pick because, again, if you tip the scales just a touch, you could see USC getting to 9 or 10 wins, and that puts them right in line, I think.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
And that's
to
what
watch.
dark horse, again. I'm not saying they're going to win it. I'm just saying if they have that magical ride, again, great quarterback.
We have his D coordinator now, and Dan
We
Lynn.
do. Do we want him is the question. We'll find out.
He's got Gary Patterson, and some people
I
say
know.
maybe he's been out of it too long, and will they mesh well enough? I think there's some questions
There's
there.
definitely questions.
Yeah.
But I never really questioned their offense, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you're right.
They always put up points.
One more preview. Next week, we'll look at some of the group of 6 teams, and you know what team we need to talk about yet?
Temple?
No?
Notre Dame?
Notre Dame. We'll talk about them next
Fighting
week.
Irish.
They've got a real chance this year to be very good. And
I think they could clean sweep the season. I
they
think
might
they'd be undefeated.
have a Heisman nominee in their quarterback.
Oh, absolutely. C.J. Carr is phenomenal.
C.J. Carr, he is great. So we'll talk more
That's
about
a
them
Penn
next
State
week.
fan talking.
No, I know. We hate to admit it, but hey, they're going to be very good. You can contact us, of course. You can find us on social media, meteorologist Brett Thackera and meteorologist Dan Tomaso on Facebook. We're on X, Doppler Dan, there he is.
Hello.
On X and Instagram. I'm Brett Thack, ABC27. You can also email us, weatherwagers@gmail.com. And that's a wrap for this week.
That is.
It's been nice to be in these digs, right?
It's nice and cozy in here. I
It's
could
comfy.
get used to this.
I think so too. And of course, next week again, we're going to do one last Thursday, and then one last Wednesday, and then we're going to push forward into
Where
the start
we'll
of the
be,
season.
we don't know.
We
Could
don't
be
know
on the
where-
roof. You
we
never
could be
know.
on the roof. Wherever we are, we're going to have fun. Thanks, Dan. Dave Shiner. Right, we need his seat.
I
warm.
know. He's
upstairs
upstairs
helping us out.
About a mile away, and he's upstairs.
Punching our buttons at the very
Hugh's
least.
running cameras. I think Owen and Steve
Notre
are
Dame
involved
fan
too.
over here. Notre Dame fan,
We
yeah.
appreciate everyone helping out.
We've got a good representation here. For now, for Dan
I
Tomaso,
think Jeremy's upstairs too. Can't forget him.
Jeremy, Hugh, Steve, Shiner, all of them.
Seth, if
the
you're
whole
up there.
crew. Weather Wagers is out. We'll see you next week.